There is a moment that almost every person over the age of 75 experiences, but very few ever realize it is happening. You wake up one morning and your legs don't feel quite as steady. Carrying groceries suddenly seems heavier than it did a year ago. Climbing stairs requires a pause halfway up. Standing from a chair takes just a little more effort. At first, it feels like normal aging, something everyone simply accepts. But what if that explanation isn't the whole story? What if your muscles aren't disappearing because you're getting older, but because your body has quietly changed the way it uses one of the most important nutrients you eat every single day? And what if the solution isn't another expensive supplement, another protein shake, or another miracle powder, but something so ancient and so overlooked that most people walk past it in the grocery store without giving it a second glance? By the end of this video, you'll discover a forgotten seed that researchers believe could completely change the conversation about muscle health after 75. But before we reveal the strongest one, you need to understand why the body changes in the first place. Because once you know what's really happening inside your muscles, you'll never look at protein the same way again. Most people believe that if they simply eat enough protein, everything will take care of itself. That advice works reasonably well when you're younger. Your digestive system breaks food down efficiently. Your muscles eagerly absorbs amino acids, and your body repairs itself almost automatically. But after 75, an invisible shift begins. Scientists call it anabolic resistance. The name sounds complicated, but the idea is surprisingly simple. Your muscles become far less responsive to the protein you consume. Imagine pouring water into a sponge that is already dried out and hardened. Instead of soaking everything up immediately, much of the water simply runs off the surface. That's remarkably similar to what begins happening inside aging muscle tissue. You may be eating the same breakfast you've eaten for decades, yet your muscles extract only a portion of the nutrients they once did. The result isn't immediate weakness. Instead, it's a slow, silent decline that unfolds month after month until one day you realize the strength you once took for granted has quietly slipped away. That gradual decline creates another problem that many people never connect to nutrition. As muscles weaken, daily movement becomes harder. Because movement becomes harder, people naturally move less. But moving less sends another signal to the body that those muscles are no longer necessary. The body responds by breaking down even more muscle tissue. Suddenly, a vicious cycle begins. Less muscle leads to less activity. Less activity leads to even greater muscle loss. Before long, balance begins to suffer, reaction time slows, and even confidence starts to disappear. Many seniors stop walking as often, avoid carrying objects, or hesitate before climbing stairs, not because they choose to, but because their bodies no longer respond the way they once did. Yet this story is about to take an unexpected turn because researchers began asking a different question. Instead of asking how to force older muscles to absorb more protein, they asked whether certain foods could help the body use protein more efficiently in the first place. That single question led scientists down an extraordinary path. They began examining populations around the world where people regularly live well into their 80s and 90s while maintaining remarkable mobility. These weren't elite athletes. They weren't spending hours in expensive gyms. Many had spent their entire lives farming, gardening, walking, and preparing traditional meals passed down through generations. Even more surprising, their diets often contained modest amounts of meat compared with modern Western eating patterns, yet they continued demonstrating impressive grip strength, stable balance, and physical independence decades longer than expected. Researchers wondered whether the secret might not be found in the amount of protein these communities consumed, But in the foods, they combined with that protein every single day as investigators compared dietary habits from places like Okinawa, rural Turkey, parts of the Andes, and regions of West Africa. An unexpected pattern emerged. Tiny seeds appeared again and again in traditional meals. Some were sprinkled over vegetables. Others were mixed into porridge. Some became simple pastes or were stirred into soups. Individually, none looked extraordinary, but together they shared something fascinating. They delivered not only protein, but also healthy fats, antioxidants, minerals, fiber, and plant compounds that seem to work together instead of separately. Rather than acting like isolated nutrients, they behaved like complete nutritional systems, supporting digestion, reducing inflammation, protecting muscle cells, and improving the body's ability to use amino acids more effectively. Suddenly, scientists realized they might have been asking the wrong question all along. For years, the nutrition industry encouraged people to chase larger numbers, more grams of protein, bigger scoops, stronger powders, higher percentages. But perhaps the real goal was never simply eating more protein. Perhaps the goal was helping the aging body actually use the protein it already receives. That realization completely changed the discussion. Instead of searching for the newest laboratory-designed supplement, researchers found themselves studying foods that had existed for thousands of years. Ironically, many of these foods cost only a few dollars and required no advertising campaigns because generations had quietly trusted them long before modern nutrition became an industry. That brings us to the first remarkable seed in today's countdown. It isn't the most powerful one we'll discuss, but it perfectly illustrates why nature often hides extraordinary benefits inside the simplest foods. Most people recognize sunflower seeds as little more than a snack eaten during baseball games or sprinkled onto salads. Few imagine that these tiny kernels could play an important role in preserving muscle health after 75. Yet once scientists examined their nutritional profile, they discovered something far more interesting than protein alone. Sunflower seeds contain respectable amounts of protein, but what truly separates them is the company that protein keeps. Every handful delivers an impressive concentration of vitamin E, one of the body's most important antioxidants. As we age, muscle cells are exposed to increasing levels of oxidative stress. Imagine tiny sparks constantly striking delicate machinery. Over time, those sparks slowly damage the components responsible for strength and recovery. Vitamin E acts like a protective shield, helping defend muscle cell membranes against that constant wear and tear. Instead of merely feeding muscle tissue, sunflower seeds help preserve the environment that allows muscle tissue to survive in the first place. The story becomes even more interesting because vitamin E doesn't work alone. Sunflower seeds naturally package it alongside healthy fats that improve absorption. This is one reason whole foods often outperform isolated supplements. Nature frequently combines nutrients in ways laboratories struggle to replicate. When these healthy fats accompany vitamin E, your body can use it more efficiently. Add in generous amounts of magnesium, selenium, and phosphorus, and suddenly those tiny seeds become far more than a snack. They become nutritional partners supporting muscle contraction, energy production, and recovery all at the same time. Now imagine starting your morning with just a small portion added to oatmeal, yogurt, or a smoothie. No complicated recipes, no expensive powders, no dramatic lifestyle changes. Small habits repeated consistently often produce far greater results than dramatic changes that last only a few days. But as impressive as sunflower seeds are, they merely prepare us for something even more fascinating. Because the next forgotten seed has been treasured for over 5,000 years, and researchers now believe its greatest strength isn't simply building muscle, it's strengthening the very foundation that muscles depend on. And once you understand why that foundation matters so much after 75, you'll never overlook these tiny seeds again. By now, a pattern should be impossible to ignore. Every forgotten seed we've explored has done far more than simply provide protein. Sunflower seeds protect muscle cells from the damage that slowly steals strength with age. Sesame seeds reinforce the bones and connective tissue that every movement depends on. Pumpkin seeds supply the minerals that allow your body to transform protein into real muscle instead of letting it go to waste. Individually, each one is impressive, but together they reveal a much bigger truth. Healthy aging isn't about chasing one miracle nutrient. It's about giving your body the complete nutritional environment it needs to keep rebuilding itself even after 75. But here's where this story becomes truly fascinating. Scientists eventually realized that even these remarkable seeds shared one hidden limitation. They could provide outstanding nutrition, yet they still depended on one critical process happening inside your body first. If inflammation remained too high, if digestion slowed, or if your cells couldn't efficiently deliver nutrients where they were needed most, even excellent foods would never reach their full potential. That discovery forced researchers to look beyond minerals and protein altogether. They began searching for a seed capable of improving not only what you eat, but how your entire body responds to it. What they found stunned them. High inside one of the oldest cultivated crops in human history was a seed so unique that it appeared to influence several of the body's most important systems simultaneously. It didn't rely on massive amounts of protein to make an impact. Instead, it worked quietly behind the scenes, helping reduce inflammation, supporting heart health, improving digestive function, and creating an internal environment where muscles could finally make better use of every gram of protein consumed throughout the day. And once researchers uncovered why this ancient seed had remained a dietary staple in some of the world's longest living populations, they realized they were looking at something far more significant than another healthy snack, because the forgotten seed waiting at number 3 doesn't just feed your muscles. It may change the way your aging body uses every meal you eat. That changes everything. And what comes next may be the most surprising discovery of this entire countdown.